Well, hi there, friends. We're getting ready to go ride out and check out a local creek in my area. See if there's anything cool we can find. Won't you join me? Alright friends, we have arrived at this nice little babbling brook, little creek here that dumps into the Great Kentucky Lake about a quarter-mile downstream here. This is an awesome little place in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to get some mud boots on. We're going to walk this creek a little bit and see if there's anything cool we can find. Ooh, look at all the deer tracks. They're all over the place. I'll tell you a little bit something about that and finding these particular tracks where I'm at. This is old Chickasaw Indian land. Hundreds of years, these tribes that lived around here and stuff. There's a reason to believe there may be some Indian artifacts in this general area because the Indians followed the game. And you can see the game always come down to where there's water. So I have reason to believe that at this particular area of Western Kentucky had a lot of Indians, and there's a lot of things to be found. We just got to start looking. And with the weather warming up and stuff, one thing we really need to be mindful of is the emergence of a lot of critters such as copperheads and water moccasins. Alright, it's a time where we need to train our eyes to be looking for odd things. You know, a lot of these rocks look like something, but most of them are nothing more than just old stones washed up through the years here on this creek bed. I've been noticing a lot of these little geosymmetrical shaped rocks kind of look like they're carved out for some reason. I don't have an explanation for that. I found a couple other in other creeks kind of like this. We're going to hold on to this just because it's a little bit different. You got to be careful, like I said, because everything looks like something. We're looking for something that's obviously man-made. Ooh, that looks pretty neat. Look at the crazy colors on that thing. Ain't no gold nugget or anything. I'll show you closer when we get back to the outpost. It's pretty neat. We're gonna hold on to it. Ooh, look at this. I don't know if that's a old arrowhead or not. We're gonna hold on to that. It could be a very, very old spearhead. It's pretty cool. In the pocket it goes. Here's one of the most difficult things about looking for things like arrowheads and stuff out here. You got a lot of rocks that look just like this that are a false sense of hope that maybe that's an arrowhead. which in essence it probably isn't. It's just another rock laying in a creek bed. Well, we've been hiking for about an hour up and down this creek, and unfortunately we haven't really been able to find anything of that value. Some really neat, cool things to myself personally, and I've read a lot and I've done a lot of research on actual Indian artifacts and arrowheads and stuff, and you see these pictures of these beautiful, perfectly in shape arrowheads, and you'd think being somewhere where I'm at, which is so prevalent to history, that they'd be all over the place. Well, unfortunately they're not. It takes a great deal of patience, time, and effort to locate anything. Everything kind of looks the same way. I mean, if there's any place it's a hot spot, it's going to be where I'm at. But I would argue with some people that some of the stuff I find, even though it's not a complete looking arrowhead, may be remnants of 200 years ago, you know, because the odds of finding a regular arrowhead, Indian arrowhead, that's in perfect condition aren't very good unless you have somebody that can point you right out to where they're at. See that cool little guy right there? Yeah. Experts would say you got nothing there, Tim, but you know what? This is about the size of what you're looking for when it comes to arrowhead, and it has the characteristics all the way around on it. Just because it isn't all fancy looking like you see in the pictures and all that stuff, it don't mean that it couldn't have at one time 200-300 years ago been something to kill game. Alright, so we're going to take a little walk down the other way in the creek and stuff for a little bit longer. The day's wearing on, and we're going to wrap things up and head back to the outpost and see our meager little bounty that we collected for the day. Well, the day's getting away from us and we got about a 30-minute ride to get back, so we're gonna head out and I'll catch up to y'all when we get back to the outpost. Alright, and just like that, through the magic of time, we've made it back to the outpost. Let's have a look at what we found today. Alright, first on our list here was a big thick piece of dark glass. Looks like it could have possibly been to like a plate or something. An unspent 12-gauge shotgun shell, a thick piece of green glass, and a clip-on lamp for a hat. Old clip-on lamp. Pretty neat stuff. Let's move on. This next row is a bunch of items that I found really interesting. They have some really cool color patterns to them. These look like actual small nuggets of gold. Just a color contrast of all the stuff that you found in this creek. Really, really neat stuff. Look at the oblong shape on that guy. This has actually got some like greenish turquoise in it. Neat little pattern. See that? Take a look at that. Just really, really neat stuff. Moving on. That doesn't look like anything else that we've seen. That's very interesting. This has got beautiful coloring to it and patterns and stuff. You have to actually be here in person to see it. It's unbelievably gorgeous. And then this guy. That's pretty neat, but if you look closely, it's got old crustacean fossilized patterns on it. Really, really neat stuff. Next are these little rocks, but if you look at them carefully, they got sparkles in them, almost like a gypsumite or something. They're very unusual. The colors, the patterns on there, really, really neat stuff. And a couple little stones that actually had a resemblance, I thought for a moment, as being old coins. Every single one of these has holes that have been either worn there through water in years, but they're pretty neat nonetheless. I mean, you've got to at least take eyes to seeing how incredibly cool this kind of stuff is. But not least, all our little arrowhead replicas. I can hear them in the comments. Those aren't arrowheads, Tim. Well, They look pretty darn close. That one there, it really does. And there's a lot of resemblance in these. Really good find for today. I had a lot of fun. That's going to be a wrap for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the video. Wow, what a lot of fun that is. I could spend hours and hours and hours out there just hunting the creek beds and stuff. And there are a lot of artifacts and relics that are in this area. I know that for sure. And I can hear in the comments, Tim, none of those even look close to arrowheads. You're wrong. They do. And a lot of the arrowheads, the perfect ones you always see pictures of and people showing and stuff like that, those aren't as easy as you might think to find. Those are very rare because 90% of the time when those arrows were shot, they were never found, or they were broke, or tips busted off of them and stuff. So by finding these absolute perfect arrowheads out there, good luck to you. And maybe one day we'll come across our treasure. Until next time, I'll see you on the outpost.